to Forte Catholic. I'm Taylor Schroll, and that is Chris Bartlett. Hello, buddy. How are you, my friend?
Good. It's been about a month.
About a month? Well, it's usually been about a month for you, but it is weird for me. You're right.
That's new for you and your listeners. So welcome to our monthly installment.
I mean, not really. If you've looked at the last year, this is actually pretty normal.
That's fair. That's fair.
We're back, and I have this weird thing about today's show. I'm filled with joy and happiness. I have no grumpiness whatsoever. I'm genuinely happy. This is new for the show. That's what's really new for the show.
That is new, and I'm legitimately pissed off, and I want to tell you why.
Okay,
Are you buckled in?
I am. I think my microphone's upside down, but I'm gonna leave it where it is. Sorry, video listeners. It's wonky. I think my nose is covered up by a metal sheet, but we're just gonna deal with it.
Okay. Well, I have been working on something for nearly a year now. Last year, around this time, my Spotify Wrapped came out. Now, I share my Spotify. Hey, I share my Spotify Wrapped.
You didn't get that joke, but the listeners did. That was fun.
Good. I share my Spotify with my kids like a regular middle class guy, right? And so we all take turns and yell at each other. I'm on retreat leading reflection. Quit playing this, whatever.
Right.
And so Daddy's got Spotify this weekend. But Sabrina Carpenter was my number one song. I don't know which one. I don't know. But like all of them had these like buttery pop before you finally got into a song that I listened to, which was like number 4 or number 5 on the list. And I was like, no way, this is not going to happen. And so I decided that I am going to game it. So I created a playlist and I played that playlist all throughout the year on silent on my computer while I was working and doing other stuff. So that the same 40 songs, which by the way, the playlist consisted of 3 songs on repeat. Boom, 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 boom. So that those same 3 songs got played many, many times. And it failed.
Slipknot. Ray LaMontagne and the Gorillas.
The GIA Singers, because that song is Keep in Mind. Now, that's a hymn, and I always love...
the GIA, like the hymnal book, the green one in all of our parishes?
Yes, that one.
You're the biggest loser I've ever met in my entire life.
just stay with the thing. What I was seeking to accomplish, stay on board. Because like it's 247, so oftentimes
you're assuming I've been on board with you. That's a large assumption on your point.
I hand my kids the book and I'm like, hey guys, keep in mind 247. And they'll look at me confused and then they'll open it up to page 247 and it'll say, keep in mind. It's a hilarious little dad joke. You guys can use it yourself. It works once or twice a year. So I thought, why not make this the punchline that our number 1 song on Spotify is Keep in Mind by the GIA Singers. The number 2 song was a song by Rachel Lampa called God Loves You. And then the number 3 song was a Pokemon theme song called No Matter What. And so my top 3 songs were going to go Keep in Mind, God Loves You, No Matter What. And I had this playlist going, and my Spotify Wrapped did not care at all about the GIA Singers. And so my top 3 songs are 512 listens, No Matter What. 484 listens, God Loves You. That's pretty good. No Matter What, God Loves You. Third song, Stick Season, 91 listens. I guarantee, keep in mind, had hundreds of listens more than Stick Season, but here we are, and I feel like Spotify hates the GIA Singers with their partnership with Kelly Dobbs Mickus and their song Keep in Mind, and I'm mad that my dad joke did not get to land the way I wanted it to.
Boy, oh boy. There's so many
I was going 1 year for a punchline, and it's gone. There's no punchline. One whole year of waiting and anticipating.
That's the epitome of dad jokes. You tried so hard, and it literally no one laughed. Like no one thought that was no one thought it was funny in the setup, and definitely not the payoff. So
the payoff was the only funny part.
What I really want to know is what we have to keep in mind. Do we have to keep in mind espresso? Do we have to keep in mind, please, please, please? Do we have to keep in mind short and sweet? That's what I really want to know, is where the keep in mind landed and what Sabrina Carpenter song it was setting up.
Wait, there's other versions of Keep in Mind?
No, you dummy. Keep in Mind was not in your ending. So Keep in Mind is definitely somewhere followed by a Sabrina Carpenter song.
Yeah.
So that's what I really want to know. I need you to find Keep in Mind, Man-Child.
Buried somewhere in the sands of time with Sabrina
Keep in
Carpenter.
Mind, When Did You Get Hot?
That I'll take. I never knew that I arrived. Yes.
Keep in Mind, The Life of a Showgirl.
I'm so mad. I'm so
God
mad at
loves
Spotify.
you. Tears. I'm having so much fun with this. Oh, man.
Anyways, so Spotify robbed me. Do not believe that your top songs are your top songs. Question everything. Fake news. Spotify Wrapped.
I think it's very funny that it accepted 2 of them, but it didn't accept the hymnal because even Spotify is like, no one's listening to this unless it's muted on their computer. Like,
certainly not over 500 times. Yeah.
Right. They're like, this is clearly like an aberration in data. Like they see like Sabrina Carpenter, and then way down on their chart they see like Christian music, and then they're like, literally no one is. The GIA singers don't even listen to the GIA singers. Like clearly no one listens.
I was their top fan this year. I'm sure of it.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you were their fan.
They're one fan.
That's very funny. You were in the top 1% and also the bottom 1% of the GIA music. No one listens to them when they play their songs at church.
Fair. So,
you want to know what's really bad is I stand by everything I said, but I guarantee you I have met one of the GIA singers at a conference somewhere and they're going to hear about this.
Be like, Taylor said what? Yeah. Well, when you see that, keep in mind this story about Keep in Mind.
It's the mi espresso. What I really think is funny is that what you're trying to do is pass off that Sabrina Carpenter wasn't actually your number 1 when I'm pretty positive she was.
I'm in the top 20% of her listeners. Yes, absolutely.
Even though you had these other songs playing 500 times silently, I'm pretty sure you listen to Sabrina Carpenter more than that.
And you know who else was a carpenter? Our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. You just died inside so hard. I did get to land a dad joke. Thank you very much. Tip your waiters.
Yeah, it took you 8.5 minutes to land a joke.
I shot 20 jokes. One finally landed, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
That's very funny. It's also how you met your wife. Okay. So we oh no, I have follow-ups on the Spotify thing. Okay, here's I have an actual solution. I'm the husband in this scenario. You just wanted to complain for 10 minutes and for me to say they're there, but I actually have a solution for you.
Good, let's hear it.
Okay, remind me again what subscription you have to Spotify?
I don't know. The one with the kids? I have my kids on it. I share it.
That's okay. You do this.
Premium.
This.
Premium.
Spotify Premium, yes. But do you have the family plan or do you have one plan?
No, I have the poor people plan.
Okay, Chris, I need you to go. We're gonna do this live actually because you know what, the show's different now. We're gonna do so. What Joe Rogan does this, so why can't I? I always felt guilty about doing prep for the podcast during the podcast, but Joe Rogan's like, yeah, somebody look that up and pull it up.
Individual is what it says. Yep.
Spotify individual plan cost $12 a month.
Yes.
Spotify family cost $19 per month. So for $7 a month, you can stop complaining about your Spotify Wrapped. And I think that's worth it for most people. Now, it's a decision you have to make, but like, here's the decision. You're in the position. How many children do you have walking around that house?
Last week it was a little bit more. It was 11, but it was 9. Typically it's 6.
That was intentionally vague, and we're going to leave it like that. So that's because the reality is way better than what everyone is thinking right now. Chris has not murdered his children. Six of those Bartlett kids running around. So for a family of 6, maybe there isn't an extra $7 a month. But also, bang for the buck wise, I think you could add 10 family members. I did this many, many years ago. Here's how I solved the problem. I was being very stupid, and I bought the family plan might not have even been a thing. Maybe I was stupid, maybe I wasn't. But I was tired as well of my kids' Spotify taking over mine. So my solution was buy my wife a Spotify account as well and let the kids play music off of that one. That's how I originally solved the problem.
She gets the Baby Shark in her algorithm. Got it.
Correct. That's what we did. It took me years to get out of my songs being from the Little Mermaid and stuff. But I finally figured all that out. That was my solution. My solution was to pay double because I was so tired of the 2 things that you mentioned. Spotify Wrapped, a little bit annoying, but it was really like the daddy's leading worship and you're playing Blues Clues. Like you really need to stop because I'm in the middle of adoration. Like you've got to quit, right? I solved that by double paying. But then they added this family plan. So I was paying $22 a month. Now I'm only paying $19 a month. And I could add your family, Chris. You could just send me $10 and I can add y'all. Everybody can have their own plan. Because I have 4 on it. We can add your 6. Like we've got it. But there are easier ways to solve this problem than using your thousands of dollars computer to play songs on mute. Like there are better solutions to the problem, and I just want to back away from the issue for a moment to relook at the situation and find.
But the dad joke, keep in mind, comma, God loves you, comma, no matter what. Kids, this is what we're about. And then they roll their eyes at me and I get so much satisfaction. And Spotify took that away from me because they're Scrooges.
I promise you this is not Spotify's fault. This is 100% on you. So is the extra...
You're not going to give the GIA singers any credit in this debacle?
I've been quite clear. It's an extra $70-ish for you a year. Is the extra $70 worth 2 things? 1, your brain power and time and computing power on your computer to play songs on mute. And 2, to not have this conversation ever again. It might be worth it to me. I might be sending you $35 at the end of this conversation.
There's a GoFundMe that's already been started. Thank you, Taylor.
I set the goal and funded it 100%.
Yeah. Well, at least I had my dreams until Spotify ripped them away from me. And how are you?
What I've been trying to get across to you, this is on you. This is not on Spotify.
I know it is. I know, but man, I was so close. I got 2/3 of the songs up there in the #1 chart, and the other one just disappeared like it would never been written.
It did that when it was written.
That was a layup. Man, that was a layup.
I just windmill dunked that. That was awesome.
Yeah, dude. Next segment, please.
No, I take it back. I'm sending you $70 at this time next year just so that I can. This was fun. This was cathartic for me. I told you coming in that I was in a good mood. I'm exhilarated now. I feel like I'm in heaven. I was already in a good mood. I got to dunk on Chris Bartlett for 10 minutes. He threw the alley-oop.
Everyone wins when Chris loses. Yeah, thank you so much.
Usually it's a teammate throwing the alley-oop. The defender threw it and let me dunk on him. Oh, I'm doing great. I'm in a wonderful mood. But since we've last spoken, you as in me and you and me in the audience, I had my longest weep that I've ever had in my life. Legitimately, I cried for longer than I ever have in one sitting in my entire life. And I've shared on the show, like when this show started 10 years ago, I did not cry. I had not cried in my adult life when this show started. And then I started working at Blaze, and I started meeting like holy women, and I started, having daughters, and I started being encouraged to have feelings other than anger and joy. So I've grown, and I cry almost every TV episode I watch now. I cry about something. I'm just just a little misty maybe, or like
sure,
or like more recently, like we rewatched Mandalorian for the first time because we were watching it with our kids for the first time. And like, like multiple times where I'm like trying to express why it means something to me. So I have the like tears in my eyes, but I like can't talk normally for like a minute where I'm like, where like if I just shut up, nobody would really know that I'm having this emotional moment.
Right.
And I'm like, but he is a good dad. Like there's just all these little things that are connecting. But I wept for 15 minutes straight about 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Because
I scheduled recording this podcast with you.
I didn't even get to bounce the ball. You just stole the inbound and dunked on me again. That's not fair.
No, so a few weeks ago, NCYC happened. I was not there. I was at the parish. I started a new job. I let everybody know. If you're wondering where the show's been for the last month, go listen to that last episode. You'll figure it all out. Got a new job at the parish, and we had this event because the Pope was speaking to NCYC, the National Catholic Youth Conference. You and I have both been before. You weren't there this time. I know you weren't because you didn't experience this event, because I called you and said, "Did you see that?" And you were like, "No." So
yep. I've watched highlights. I was on the planning committee, and I'd love to tell you how that all got orchestrated, but because it's a really cool story. But keep going. So the NCYC, National Catholic Youth Conference.
Yeah. So it happens every year in Indianapolis. It happens in the Indianapolis Colts Stadium. So like 40 to 60,000 kids are in this stadium. And it's a youth conference. There's talks, there's prayer, there's mass, there's adoration, there's music, there's fun and all this kind of stuff, right? Well, I've been there before, and it's a really cool experience. But like, I went when I worked for Ablaze, and I was like running a booth. It's like I wasn't really engaging in the conference, but like I went and like did adoration, like participated in adoration from the rafters essentially, which was that was a cool experience because it was a trippy experience. Like everyone that listens to the show knows that I have a hard time paying attention to anything that's happening, especially something quiet and methodical like a mass or adoration, right? So I kept getting distracted. Where in a church, if you get distracted, there's built-in things for people like me. Like there's banners, and then if you get high enough, there's like stained glass, and it's like that's kind of what it's for. It's for the ADD people like me that are like, oh, even when I'm distracted, I'm thinking about how David was fighting that lion and how Moses was, wrangling that snake onto the boat. I get to see these sorts of things. But when I was at NCYC, it was like I was looking at three things. One, I kept trying to look at Jesus because I know that that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Sure.
But that's probably 40% of my time during the 30 minutes of adoration was looking at Jesus. The other 40 was looking around at the vastness of these people. Like 40 to 60,000 people from across the country that all care about Catholicism, that are all here for this big moment. The 40 plus 40 is 80, Taylor. Yes, I'm aware. The other 20% was me going from Jesus to Peyton Manning's retired number, to Jesus to Peyton Manning's retired number, to Jesus to Peyton Manning's retired number. And I couldn't, it was this weird moment of this is everything I care about. Like if my wife and kids were here, this is it. This is everything. I've got professional football. I've got the people that care about and love Jesus, and I've got Jesus. Like almost everything I care about is right here, and I don't have to glance that far. Jesus, Peyton Manning, people. Great. Good. So I had that experience. How many times have you been to NCYC?
Probably 5 or 6.
Yeah, great. So I wasn't there, but something very special. People are listening. I'm surprised how many people did not hear that this happened.
Yeah.
The Pope of the Catholic Church live streamed into this conference for 45 minutes. It wasn't a hey, hello. It wasn't a pre-recorded, hey, I'm praying for you and I care about you. It was actually caring for this group of people who you and I have dedicated our lives to serving.
Yeah.
The young people from across America. I've got goosebumps now. We'll see if I can get through this without crying. If you've listened to this show for 10 years or any time in between, you know how much I care about serving the church, serving, using my gifts to do all this sort of thing. And my primary way that I've done that is through youth ministry.
Yep.
If you've listened for more than 5 years, you know some of the struggles that I've had in working in and around the church, especially from leaders within the church. So seeing the leader of our church spend 45 minutes being personable, taking time out of his day to spend 45 minutes speaking to, answering the questions of American young people, an American Pope speaking to American people in Peyton Manning Stadium. I wept for 15 minutes because I've never felt so loved and cared for by the church ever a single moment in my entire life.
And how did we get here? This is a fascinating thing because I agree. It seems that at best, young people, especially from the hierarchy in the church, sometimes feel like an afterthought. Okay, we've taken care of the other stuff. We have a little bit of bandwidth. Yes, we'll do something for the youth. And so I'm on the planning committee, and they reached out to the Holy See, to the Holy Father, and they said, "Hey, could you send a pre-recorded message? This is the largest gathering of Catholic youth in the United States. Could you send a pre-recorded message, like just something 3 to 5 minutes?" And they reached out to his office and made that request. He came back and he said, "Hey, instead of something pre-recorded, why don't we just do something live? Like for 30 to 45 minutes. I can make time for these young people." So it wasn't even this, hey, let's hope that he's able to do this live stream. It was, we asked him for what we thought was a generous ask, 3 to 5 minute video from his time. And he came back and said, no, why don't I spend almost an hour with these young people instead?
Crazy.
Isn't that nuts? Like the Pope Leo loves the young people. He was the one who said, 5 minutes is enough to share my heart with these young people. Let's do an engaging event. I think he actually used the word over Zoom. Let's do a Zoom. We call it a digital encounter, but 45 minutes. It was his idea, Taylor. It was his idea.
It's crazy. Just like the amount of care that it showed from a father, like the father in a church, but from a father in the church to his children, and like his children meaning the children in the room, but also like I felt loved from a father in the church from halfway across the country, and he was halfway across the world. So it started like most normal Pope things. Like
everyone all button up, very formal.
Like, it's not a nuncio, but one of those words that's made up. The only word that I know is nuncio, but some kind of representative for the Holy See it's all eloquent, and it feels like we're about to introduce the Queen of England, like that sort of thing, right? I know she's dead. Yeah. It'd be weird to introduce her, but and here she is in the ground. So it's the same trumpet guy that did last. Anyway, so he introduces the Pope, and then the Pope does give like a 3 to 5 minute exhortation, which is normal. Like if the Pope is going to do something digitally, that's pretty normal. It's like 3 to 5 minutes of typically pre-recorded. And it's like, here's what I would like to share. Young people, do not fear, have courage, stand firm in your faith. Like we've all heard something like that from a Pope in the past. He did that. And then this was the wild part. Like a friend of mine, Katie Praise McGrady, who like I edit our podcast every week. Like I hear Katie's voice a lot. So to be sitting in my parish watching Katie essentially interview the Pope on behalf of teens was wild. I'm like, it's the most connected I think I've ever been to a Pope. Like I have had friends meet the Pope. So like they shook Pope's hand, I shook their hand. Like I've had that 1 degree of separation before.
Yeah.
But like on a ministry level, I haven't. Because it's like, it was weird and surreal to be like, that's my friend. And she's talking to the Pope for 45 minutes on this national live stream. And like, it was the little things. It was 2 things. There was a big thing that was coming. Like the initial exhortation was pretty cool. I started crying when he started being a person.
Yeah.
Like, like, so Katie starts talking to him, and she says, she makes a little joke. She's a radio host. She's a podcast. She's been in youth ministry for so long. She's an MC. Like, so a lot of the off the cuff kind of stuff. Like, she's like, look, I'm not going to ask you about your starting Wordle. I'm not going to ask you about the sacrilegious socks that I gave you. So we're going to jump right in. And the whole setup was like, he gives his talk. Katie introduces these teens, and then 5 American teens from across America went up and asked him 5 questions. Like the questions were prepared, but like they got to ask questions that, as a viewer, you don't know. Maybe the Pope knew these questions were coming. Maybe he didn't. But they also asked follow-up questions that I know were not prepared.
Not scripted. Yeah.
And he still answered them and was like showing pastoral care in some pretty difficult questions about AI and being a young person in America and being and how do I connect with God when my phone's in the way? Like great questions that youth are always asking. They usually ask me and you at confirmation retreats. They got to ask the Pope. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But like he's answering the questions. But like, so Katie does her whole preamble and then he answers all the things. And then he says, my word for Wordle is different every single day. And I don't wear the socks that you gave, not because I don't appreciate them, but the Pope always wears white socks. Like, I lost it. Because he's just an American guy who's super holy and became the Pope. But like, he's not answering, oh yes, Catechism 242 and canon law says about socks. No, he just chuckles and says, I play Wordle every day, and that's a thing that people ask. What's your starting Wordle, Chris? What's your starting Wordle? That's just a thing that people do, and the Pope's doing it on a live stream. It was crazy. So like he's answering the questions, and I have some quotes that he said that were like super impactful. But like the waterworks were just going, and I'm sitting in the back. So I'm hosting an event at the parish and weeping for 15 minutes. But like everyone was set up. We had tables. There's like 90 people in one room, 150 people in another room. We're, projecting the live stream. Everybody's watching it and having a great time, right? I'm sitting in the back at a table by myself, sobbing and like trying not to make a scene.
Because you gotta go MC this thing out at the end of it.
No, I didn't even do it. Somebody else did it because I'm a wreck. Yeah, I look like I got in a fight because I wept for 15 minutes straight. And I was like glad that I was by myself and not at a table with other people because like I got to do that. And it was like I've been on this healing journey for 5 years. And I think it was just it's not the end, I don't think, but it was a big chunk of that last little percentage that got healed.
Healing came all the way from the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've never looked at a pope and been like, I could be friends with that guy.
We could hang out.
They've always been like so holy and so other and so different, like so different than my life.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I can hang out with a Bears and Cubs and White Sox fans from Chicago that talks about Wordle in his socks. Like I can do that. Like it felt like I was welcome at the table and not like you're welcome at the, like, I'll put it this way. Whenever the Pope goes out and washes the feet of criminals, that's when I feel like, oh, he cares about me too. Not when he's doing everything else. So I don't know. It's just different.
There was something relatable because I did see a number of the different clips that were created. And it was like, that's exactly what I would want to say to teens on that question. Authentic friendship, some of those different things. And largely, Taylor, I think you would say things largely similar to what the Pope said in regards to answering those questions.
But nobody's listening.
But you're not the Pope.
Right.
So the fact that it comes from his mouthpiece instead of yours is so meaningful, but at the same time, so affirming to where it's like, oh, yeah, me and the Pope are totally aligned on that answer and different things like that. It was just, it was outstanding. And there was a buzz in the church because the Pope came and basically anointed Catholic youth gatherings. Because it wasn't just yay NCYC. Every time youth get together, they know that the Holy Father supports and supports that and cheers that on because he showed up to the largest gathering. And I think that's something profound for the field that we've been laboring in, the vineyard that we've been laboring in for so many years. It was meaningful. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad. I'm so happy.
It was so like, I don't know, just like one thing that's always bothered me that I think I was proven right through through this experience with Pope Leo is that like one thing that I do, I've done this when you've been in the room, but like whenever we're about to start adoration, like a lot of times people would be like, when I'm in a large group of people, a youth event, adult ministry, whatever it is, like I ask the question pretty often, if Jesus walked through that door, how would you respond? And the answers vary. We like a lot of different answers are biblical. Like a lot of people would fall down and on their face and say, I'm not worthy, like Peter did. A lot of people would cry. A lot of people would be giggling and happy and overjoyed. A lot of people would run up and hug him. A lot of people would run away from him. A lot of people would be like, who's that? What? A lot of people would be like, wait, what? What's he doing here? I was just looking at my phone, and then Jesus walked in. Like, there's so many different reactions. And like, that's, I use it as a lead into adoration. It's like, we don't have to pretend. Like, Jesus is walking into the room, and any and all of those reactions are positive. But like, the thing that always pops into my head about who I am and my relationship with Jesus is that like the story that always comes to mind is that I'm Peter after Jesus rises, and I'm running out. I have screwed up like Peter did in denying him, but yes. I'm pulling up my pants and I'm running out into the water and going to embrace him. And then we're going to go eat fish for breakfast on the coast. Like that's me. Like whenever I picture that moment, what would you do when Jesus walked in? I would eat and hang out with him, right? Like when I think of the apostles, I think about all those stories, the stories we don't know about in between the sermons and the miracles and all that. It's just him hanging out with them. And like, they weren't just hanging out, like he's still forming them to be the early leaders of the church, right? But like, this was the most Christ-like in that way that I connect with Christ.
Yeah.
That I've ever seen.
Publio hung out with the youth. Yeah.
He did. Like, we were sitting outside just chilling with him. And like, and he was available for us to ask questions, but he's also making jokes about Wordle and socks. Like, that's the Jesus that I've always imagined. And I've always felt weird about it. I've always felt weird that I'm not the person that falls down on my knees when Jesus walked in. I'd be like, what? Hey, look who it is. Like, that's my dude. That's
my dude. Yeah.
I'm like, I'll cook. Let's have lunch. Like, that's my reaction. And I've always felt less holy than the person who falls on their knees and it's like either crying or saying I'm not worthy or weeping happy tears. Like, I'm the person that's like, my guy's here. And
yeah.
Like, that's how it felt at NCYC. My guy's here.
That's amazing.
It was very sweet. So he got into the content piece, and I have a few quotes. And what's really funny about these quotes is that most of the quotes that stuck out to me are one, either extensions of quotes that you and I have used from previous popes. Pope Francis, Pope Benedict, Pope John Paul II. He's like adding his own spin onto those.
Okay.
Or the second half of either one of two things. He's been reading Augustine recently, or Augustine was a huge part of his formation. Because in the second half of the answering questions section, he's like, and then Augustine said this, and then Augustine said this. Like, so I'm quoting Pope Leo speaking to the kids at NCYC, but most of this is St. Augustine because he kept saying, Augustine said this. So I don't know who I'm quoting, but here are some of the things that stuck out to me. And my notes started about 15 minutes in because, as I mentioned earlier, I was busy for the first 15.
Yeah, your screen would have been dripping. Yep.
We cannot give our problems to someone we barely know. It helps click something for me because he's talking about my yoke is easy, my burden is light, and the kid was asking about like, how do I do the whole Jesus thing when I'm stressed about school and life and family and everything else? And he quotes first saying that my yoke is easy, my burden is light, but we've all heard that and wondered how it works practically. It's like, you keep telling me that your yoke is easy and burden is light, but my life is hard. Like this 6-month span, this 12-year span, this 1 week span is very difficult. And he's like, you can't give your problems to somebody you barely know. So it's like, there is some impetus on us to build a relationship with Jesus before we just give him all of our crap. Will he take it anyway? Yes. But it's like, I don't know. There's just some balance there that I found refreshing.
Okay.
He talked about AI, which, he's been pretty against the same crap that I've been against. So that's been nice. But just joking, like he gave a whole spiel about AI and like went into like, hey, it can be a tool, but it's a lot of it's bad and blah, blah, blah. Like essentially a whole conversation you and I had on this show. But then he stopped and he finished his answer. And then right before Katie was about to start to move on, he goes, also don't let AI do your homework. He's like, here's the theological answer. And then here's the last little dad answer that I need you to know.
Super practical. Yeah. Hey kids, study. Yeah.
So he also talked about, so this is where he starts quoting a quote that one of us has said at every youth confirmation retreat you and I have ever done together. The Pope Benedict XVI quote about greatness. Do you know it by heart? Have you said it enough?
Let me see. You were not made for comfort. You were made for greatness.
Yeah, the world promises you comfort, but
you were made for greatness. You were not made for comfort.
Yeah, exactly. So he expanded upon that. He's like, look, the last big quote, like that's probably the most, Pope Francis said things to young people, but like the most famous quote that everybody in youth ministry has been quoting, the last one, a lot of them for like when we were kids was from Pope John Paul II. But like that's been, I think, the primary quote for young people in the last.
Yeah, the JP2 one is like, you are not the sum of your faults or your failings. You are the sum of the Father's love for you. That was kind of the big JP2
exactly,
one.
Yeah. And like, so you still hear that one, but like, it's mostly been the better thing. So he kind of took it another step to like make it more his quote. He mentioned the quote from Benedict XVI, but he said, a desire for greatness, that desire for greatness is a desire for a relationship with Jesus Christ.
Wow.
And that combines my two favorite quotes of Pope Benedict. The one that you've already said, it's about happiness. And it's like the controversial one, because church people are like, or Catholic people are like, no, because ours is all about suffering. I'm like, what? No, it's not. It's about ultimate happiness because we all want to get into heaven. But he says, Pope Benedict says, the happiness that you are seeking, the happiness that you have a right to enjoy, has a face and a name. It's Jesus of Nazareth. Like those are my two Pope Benedict XVI quotes that I use literally all the time. And I'm like kind of built my life around, right? Yeah. And he says like the happiness and the greatness that he kind of combines those two. The happiness you're searching for, the greatness that you're seeking is in a person. Like if you want to live a life of greatness, you live a life with the great one. Like that's like that was awesome. And then here we get to the Augustine stuff. Making a difference usually happens through small daily practice. Like a lot of young people are like, I want to make a difference, so I need to do I need to start a movement and have my whole school and then the whole state and then the whole nation do this. It's like, no, like the way you seek greatness is by praying for 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, like, love your neighbor, kiddo. Yeah,
right. Yeah. And then the two Augustine ones, if you want to change the world, let the Lord change you, which I thought was a cool play on the whole Gandhi thing. Like, if you want the world to change, be the change you want to be in the world. Yep. Instead of be the change, it's let the Lord change you. Like, so that's it's awesome. Like involving the Lord into it. And then the last one's straight from Augustine. Give me the grace to do what you ask, and then ask. Like, so I've heard some funnier Augustine quotes, like, Lord, make me chase, but not yet. Let me have some fun first. But it's like, no, it's like not only like give me the grace to do what you ask, and then actually ask me. Like, I want to be on mission and I want to be prepared for mission. But at the same time, we also want to be like, little sinners too. So I just liked the invitation there. Those are my thoughts on Pope Leo making me cry.
Well, praise God for Pope Leo and his boldness to step in. It landed in the church, not just in, and I've never seen so much publicity and noise surrounding NCYC. And yeah, it was definitely surrounding the Pope's visit to NCYC, his digital encounter. But it says something about the church prioritizing young people. And really, this goes back to they're not the future of the church. They're the present of the church. We're not making space for them so that they can one day take over. We're partnering with them so that the church can be better now because of their perspectives and their views and their values. And Pope Leo just dove headfirst into that without reservation, I would argue as well. Like he was just, it's pretty bold not to have measured things, but none of those kids are going to be like, could you expand upon accessibility to the Latin Mass? No, they're like, hey, sometimes my phone distracts me from God. How can you help? You know what I mean? And it's just like, because that's the other thing is there was no political kind of hue to any of the questions, any of the setup or anything else that so much exists in church politics. It was just Pope Francis is like, let the children come to me and let's just share love together. It wasn't just him loving the young people. It was him being loved by the young people as well. And that type of exchange from a hierarchical standpoint is a rare display and warrants every tear you shed.
It was just like, it's just so much of Catholicism online is negative, and so much of the lived experience is positive.
Yeah.
And so to see the online Catholic be that positive was also pretty moving.
That's it.
Just this reality that we all have in real life coming to the internet was pretty cool.
Yeah, it didn't just anoint youth gatherings. It also anointed digital encounters, or it set a bar for digital encounters that we should aspire to in the way that we Catholicism online. Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Those are my thoughts. I didn't cry during this. I thought I would, but I have finished the segment, and I don't think that I have fully articulated how much it means to me and how much it meant to me, but it did.
Good.
Amen.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
And how's the new job going? How are the new digs? How's life?
It's good. It's been busy, but it's starting to settle in. Like I'm 3.5 weeks in, and the first 2 weeks was meeting with key leaders of every ministry. Cause like I'm responsible for all of it. Like everything, like every ministry that happens in the parish, I have some responsibility for. Now, most of it is actually done by either staff members or volunteers, but like,
I think I'm understanding every good thing that happens at the parish. It's because those ministry leaders are doing well. Every bad thing that happens, it's your fault.
It's because I didn't put one of them there. Yes, 100%. Like that. And that's the problem that I'm doing now. So it was 2 weeks of like understanding the situation, because it's a big situation. There was a lot of transition. There's been a lot of transition in like the parish staff over the last 6 months or so. So it's figuring out like, what is everybody else doing? Where do I need to put people, and where do I need to put myself? Right. So like I had a meeting with a guy who is like a mentor for me, and he's like, how do I see the job of director of evangelization and catechesis? I'm like, my job is to direct, like not to do it all. My job is to direct, like a director in an orchestra. The director in an orchestra actually doesn't play a singular music note the entire time. But if the director wasn't there, the concert would suck. Right.
And so no notes would get played, or at least not together. Yeah.
And like, it's an interesting thing, because like if I left today, ministry would still go well. Like the orchestra would still be fine for a little bit. Just like a professional, like a school orchestra for 7th grade, if there's no conductor, like if he stopped conducting, it would sound horrendous within 3 notes. Yeah. Now, if the conductor at the New York Symphony just stops moving his hands, like they'll probably get through the first song or so, but like legitimately when the first song is over, like they're able to keep time. They're professionals. They've got the internal clock. They've trained for 9 billion hours. But like, who starts the second song?
Right.
Like there's no, like literally at that point, even them would be lost. And it's like, that's kind of where I'm trying to take this role, is like, I'm currently slated to do lots of the things. I need to not be slated to do lots of the things. Right. So we're, evaluating, meeting, putting the right person in the right seat, figuring all that out. But like, it's going well. A lot of what I've been doing, I haven't utilized I read a book when I worked for a Blaze called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I used it a lot when I worked for a Blaze. I've used it very little in the last 5 years. It's all I've done for the last 3 weeks. Just trying to look.
Dale Carnegie, man. Love it. Yep.
Trying to, build relationships, mend relationships. Some things were going great. Some things weren't going so great. This will be a funny little one. So when we had the Pope event, there came a question. And I'm learning pretty quickly that the buck stops with me on lots of things. Father's given me a lot of latitude and a lot of authority where he don't want to be bothered with little stuff like this. So it's funny because as the youth minister in me is it has to go through 18 different channels for it's approved. It's no. Whatever I say is going until Father disagrees, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So another Bible study that meets every Friday morning and has been for decades meets where the Pope was going to be. And I'm I think you need to move. The Pope's going to be here. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But so I made the decision, and that can be, it was handled well, but that can be seen as a oh, you don't value our ministry. You're picking this ministry over this ministry. We've been here for years. There was none of that, but I've been in churches long enough that like I know that could have been a possibility.
Right.
So the next time that they met, I went to Starbucks and Kroger and I bought them gallons and gallons of coffee and dozens and dozens of pastries for the morning. And it went from being a, hey, you kicked us out to, hey, we've never been treated this well before in a 2-week span. So
Nice.
like, that's the kinds of things that I'm doing.
Good. Smart. Okay, one thing we do at the dinner table, especially after like a long day or where we've been busy on a Saturday, people went different. We do a thing called high, low, buffalo. What's the highlight or the best thing? What's been a challenge? And then what's like a random thing or something else you'd want to share? So your new job, high, low, buffalo me. What's a high? What's a low? What's something wild, like a Buffalo Wild?
Hello, Buffalo. Buffalo Bill. It's Buffalo Bill. A high of the job was that paycheck hitting the first time.
Is that right?
That was nice. Yeah, just that. Yeah, that was awesome. Another high is just like, I'm very grateful to where like this position is. Like the person that I'm replacing is a friend of ours, a longtime friend of mine.
Yep.
And he did such a good job. There was just so much change in the 5 years that he was here.
Yeah.
That like the fact that this team, I have 9 professional ministry people on a team in an office that used to be Kevin, a man named Kevin. Yes. And now there's 9 professional ministry people. Like it's such a blessing and it's such a joy to have that many good people serving the parish. Like it's like very rare to have this many people serving at any parish. Nevertheless, not a Catholic megachurch. Like we have more staff than some megachurches.
Right.
Which is really, really cool. It's a big thing that Father's poured into, and we're very grateful for that. A low? It's a low. Like there hasn't been many lows. A low was like the stuff that I don't know. But like I'm aware that there's stuff that I don't know. But like there's some things where it's like there was some, whether it was supposed to be done 4 months ago or supposed to be by someone else or supposed to be done by me 3 weeks ago when I started. I just didn't know. Like we're doing some Sacramento prep this coming week, and like I hadn't sent an email about it because I didn't know that it existed. I didn't know that there was any previous communication. Like there's just stuff I didn't know. So like I looked stupid to a group of parents, but like it is what it is. Here's all the information. I apologize if it's not the first time that they heard about it, because they definitely heard about it in August, but it's the first time they've heard about it since August. Yeah. So half of them are saying this is the first I've heard about it. I'm like, it isn't, but we could have communicated more. So it's just like I'm having to apologize for things that I didn't do, which is fine. It's part of the transition time, but so that was frustrating. But at the same time, it's like people, the high of the low is that like people have been very understanding of like, this is a time of transition. And like, people are going to ask me for things and they're not going to get it tomorrow. They're going to get it in a week and a half when I finally, like the first 2 weeks, dude, I had a meeting with somebody every hour and a half. So the low was I've been insanely busy. I had a meeting with somebody every hour and a half for 10 to 12 hours a day for the first 2 weeks. Yeah. Because that's like, I needed to get a picture of the parish. And like, that was a high meeting with them. But the low was like, I'm exhausted. But like, I knew going in that like, I'm going to work 60-ish hours for the first month so that I can work well. Like, and it's like, I knew Thanksgiving was coming. I knew Christmas was coming. So I'm just loading hours into time. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
I know that there's a horizon. Like I've been working on getting through December and setting up for January. Like that's been the course. Get through December. And like a week ago, it was like, okay, now let's start planning for January. But I think just the busyness, and I'm just tired and stressing and not sleeping well. But it's like, it's all about good stuff and good things are happening. And I don't know. There's just a lot of positive momentum, but I'm tired.
And Buffalo?
I don't know if you heard, but the Pope came and spoke at our parish. That was pretty cool. I'm trying to think of other like random things. Oh, I think the random thing is a positive. Like it's a high, but the surprising thing is that like, as I've assessed the situation, I've been close enough to the situation to know all the players but not
Right.
close enough to know all the things that have been happening.
Yep.
So I have an outside perspective of the things that have been happening.
And now you're holding the playbook.
I am, and being it like, so with random Buffalo is that like, I am in my mind, I am starting to shift things in my mind of like, who is doing what, where are we putting our time and resources and our focus. And my assumption was that was going to be a hard ask. And because a lot of that's happening in my brain and my prayer and my discernment. And usually my prayer, brain, discernment leads to a lot of people being like, no thanks. But in this situation, the random, hey, crap, it's a buffalo, is that people are like, yeah, that all makes sense. And I'm like, oh, cool.
Let's keep going. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. So,
yeah. How's it been with the family? Like, I know that like one of the changes is you have way less agency over your schedule because you're working for someone, not for yourself, so to speak. So how's that been with kind of spinning logistics and all of that?
Sure. So I do have a lot of freedom over my schedule. My schedule is just more full than it used to be. So
got it.
Like I can come and go as I need to, but especially over the first few weeks, like it's been busy. Like one of the big things that I've been missing on is like just the snuggle time with my kids and like the hanging out with my wife. Like we've been communicating enough to like, a lot of the logistics stuff has changed. Who's getting the kids? Like there have been multiple times that we're both at work and we're like, crap, it's 3:05. Who's getting the kid at 3:00? You know,
someone has
like
to leave. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
So
there's been a few of that because like it was a little easier when like we had a system that where like we didn't need to talk about stuff like that because it was just set, and now it's just less set. So, but like I can deal with being tired. The real negative of being busy is like having less time with my kids, which like I was probably a little spoiled working at home doing that, but like
sure.
The hope is that I'm just front loading a lot of this stuff, and it's just I think this week is the last week that I'm like overloaded, because my goal is to like work during the day and to do like 1 or 2 ministry evening things a week, to go pop in and visit youth night and alpha and OCIA and young marrieds and young adults. Like but like I've been at one of those a day because I need to have some face time with these things that I'm responsible for.
Because
like,
you're the new guy. And then soon enough, you'll just be the guy, and the guy pops by once every other month.
Right.
The new guy needs to make his appearance in the first week he's there.
Right.
Yeah. First
but
month.
like, so like when it comes to like my desire to just have hangout time with my kids, that's been limited. But like I haven't, because my schedule's free, I haven't missed a single thing. I've been to every basketball game. I've been to everything every kid's doctor's appointment. Like I'm still like being able to be like the stay-at-home dad stuff in that sense.
Yeah.
Just I'm not home from 4 to 9 with them every day. So
got it.
It's changed, but it hasn't. And the hope is that my assumption going in is that my schedule is going to be pretty crazy through whenever we leave for Christmas, and then I'll have a normal human being schedule in January. That's always been my assumption.
Outside of sacramental weeks, I
Sure.
would imagine. Yeah.
Sure. But even then, it's like if I work 8 hours on a Saturday, I just won't come in on a Tuesday or whatever. Like,
sure.
But like I haven't been doing the whole, however people want to word it, comp time or shift time or flex time or whatever word you want to use.
I think is what people call it.
what like I haven't been doing that because I've been purposely being at more things than I'm going to be on a normal basis.
Right. Yeah. And you recognize it. Father recognizes it. This is how you launch well.
Right.
Good.
So yeah, it's going good, and I'm happy. And there have been a few people that have reached out and like, we're sad that the show's going away. And I'm like, I'm grateful for the 4 of you that are sad. But it's good. This needed to happen, and it's been affirmed over and over again. So
good.
This is also our Advent and Christmas show. It's Advent, Chris, so we can't say Merry Christmas, but this is also our Christmas show. So Merry Christmas, buddy.
Well, Merry Christmas, and depending on when you listen to it or how much of a stickler, maybe just pause and wait, or just be okay with that.
That's very Advent of you, pausing and waiting until Christmas comes.
I'm having an Advent, and it's been a weird Advent. I alluded to the fact that there were 9 kids in my home. We had some I would say surprise visitors last week. And when I say last week, I mean like last week.
Those are usually creatures. Like
no, they were
vermin.
humans. Monday through Saturday. And it was unexpected. It was great. I mean, this family was a gift and a lot of fun, but it is different than being able to plan and prepare for it and different things like that. So we didn't end up getting our Christmas lights up because we were traveling for Thanksgiving and blah, blah, blah. We'll do it sometime during the week. Well, it was just chaos during the week, just chaos. And it wasn't bad chaos. It was actually a joyful rumbling and different things like that. And I sat down with the family at the end of the week, Sunday evening. That calendaring stuff, we all work it out at a family meeting on Sunday evening, and my kids hate it. And my wife and I are like, oh, we haven't talked about these things and who has practices when and all the different things. And we get them all on our calendar, and everyone now knows who's supposed to drive who, where, and when. And I realized, like, some of you are disappointed that we don't have our Christmas lights up.
I imagine your 4-year-old being at that meeting like, I don't think I need to be here.
Yeah,
like, your teenage kids need to be at that meeting. I don't think the babies need to be at that meeting.
We also talk about family values. Are we living up to our family rule of life and different things like that? And again, yeah.
Do the 4-year-olds live up to your family values?
The 4-year-old is just like, can I just keep being pretty? And it's like, that's exactly what we want you to do. Yeah. But I shared, I said, you know what, when Mary and Joseph were traveling, and this is for any of you in Advent season who are feeling like you didn't make it, or you're not doing it right, or your Christmas lights aren't up, or whatever. When they were traveling to Bethlehem, which means house of bread, by the way, for those Eucharist fans out there, some foreshadowing.
I thought it meant house of ham.
Bethlehem. Not Bethlehem. Okay. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Something
I was
delicious.
making fun of you for mispronouncing it. Yeah.
And thank you, Taylor. That means a lot that you would do that.
Third dunk. I got a hat trick of dunks.
No, you're on fire. Remember me, Jim?
He's on fire.
He's on fire. So, like, they were on not a camel, a donkey, riding all the way out there, and it was just. They didn't have plans. I mean, come on. Joseph could have gotten on hotels.com and gotten a reservation. There's ways to have been more organized and different things like that, but they weren't. And that was the original Advent.
He would have figured out his Spotify Wrapped years ago.
He would have had it. He would have been able to keep in mind to get a hotel for the birth of my child. And so that whole thing, like, chaos is actually kind of a part of Advent. And so if things have been falling out of place because you're busy loving or sharing Jesus in what's in front of you, and it hasn't allowed you to dig up into that box in the attic to set out the Christmas light or the decoration or whatever it is, like, that's still Advent. And invite Christ into those moments. And that disruption is exactly what they experienced when the innkeeper said, there's no room at this inn. There's no room at this inn. Hey, you can hang out at the stable in the back. And you're like, well, it looks like that's all I have because there's piles of laundry, different boxes all over the place. My home looks like a stable. And it's like, and that's okay. Christ wants to be born there as well. So if your Advent is crazy, then your Advent is great. And that's my story.
You have no idea how I was just kind of tracking with you like, hey, yeah, general Advent advice. And then you mentioned the laundry. You jerk. You have no idea how much. I didn't think that your story applied to me, and then you made it apply to me right at the end. You duped me.
Just put a star on top of the laundry, and then just some ornaments on the laundry, and that'll be your laundry Christmas tree.
I'm about to be mad, and I started this show so happy, and then I was exhilarated, and now I'm ending angry. I don't know if I'm angry again at the situation or if I'm angry at you. I'm angry at you if I told you anything in the last 3 weeks about my laundry fiasco. Are you aware? I haven't? No, I got so mad at you a moment ago. I take it all back.
That's me making a full court shot at the buzzer, man. I might have tied up the ball game.
For real. Oh, dude. You have no idea. 2.5 weeks of not being able to wash clothes in our home. Not by any fault of our own. 2.5 weeks ago, our washing machine broke. That was on a Thursday. We went on Friday to buy a new one. They said it will be delivered on Tuesday. It was delivered on Tuesday. We ran the first wash. The first wash it was all in my season of newness. I'm in my second week of my job. I just purchased hundreds of dollars of new clothes because I have to dress nice now. Like I went to Men's Warehouse and bought Men's Warehouse. Like I bought everything that you don't like to not go to a wedding, but to do everything else. I bought Men's Warehouse and all of those clothes in the washing machine. Everything that almost every single amount of clothes that I wear went into that washing machine. It went with all the sweat and the tears and some soap detergent and 26 gallons of water. And the part of the washer that does not work is the part that drains all that water out. So for 8 days, all over the Thanksgiving break, because no one wanted to come fix it because of Thanksgiving and contractors don't care about you, 8 days, every piece of clothes that I owned was inside the washer in dirty water, and I could see it.
Your most expensive fish tank ever. They're just all floating and waving at you as they swim by. Yeah.
Oh, it might be my fourth biggest purchase I've ever made in my life. We've never purchased a washer or dryer in our life. They've either been hand-me-downs, or I think maybe once I did order one off of Facebook Marketplace for $150. It lasted a year. Like, I've never bought a new one. Like, this was the first big purchase with the new big boy money, and like a gift to the family. It used to be when something broke, it was broken. Like, if this happened a month ago, we can't wash clothes in the washer. That means we can't wash clothes.
Yeah.
Well, we were able to go buy a new one, and yet still, for 2.5 weeks
can't wash
of
clothes.
Multiple contractors coming out and saying, we'll fix it. And they get here, we're like, we don't have what to fix it. And then they were like, oh, dude, I had to have like 9 different conversations with 9 different people for anyone to show any resemblance of caring about resolving this situation. Yeah. Like, they had already gotten my money. They didn't care at all. So finally, 2.5 weeks later, we got a washing machine, and like I've never been happier than. But dude, I was so mad for 2.5 weeks, just so mad. Just like, well, no, I wasn't mad for 2.5 weeks. I wasn't mad from Thursday to Tuesday, and every day after that Tuesday, just livid. Because Tuesday was supposed to be the end of all of my worries, and it was only the beginning. I had no idea. So now your Advent story applies to me, and I appreciate it.
Good. Praise God for the Jesse washing machine.
Yeah, I don't like you. We got to go. That's our show. I'm Taylor Schroll. He's Chris Bartlett. I'll be back in a month. He'll be back in a month.